Ever feel like you're stuck in a Shark Tank? Battling it out for every little advantage.
Oh, yeah.
Today, we're diving into blue ocean strategy to see if we can find a way out. This book by W. Chan Kim and Renée Mauborgne is all about escaping those bloody red oceans of competition.
Creating your own clear, calm blue ocean market, where you make the competition irrelevant.
Yeah, it's a fascinating shift in perspective. Instead of fighting for scraps in a crowded market, you're creating something entirely new.
Yeah.
Imagine charting unexplored waters, discovering unclaimed treasures. That's the allure of a blue ocean.
Okay, I'm hooked. But how do we actually find these uncharted waters? The book dives right in with real-world examples, companies who've done just that, totally reshaping their industries along the way. It's inspiring to see how businesses, big and small, have used this strategy for incredible success.
And the key is, it's not just about incremental improvements. It's about fundamentally rethinking the value you offer and who you offer it to. That's where the 6 paths framework comes in. Right? It's like a treasure map guiding us toward those blue ocean opportunities.
Exactly. The 6 paths challenge us to break free from those traditional industry boundaries, the ones that can keep us feeling trapped. They encourage us to think laterally, look across different industries, different buyer groups, even time itself. It's all about spotting those hidden opportunities that everyone else is missing.
All right, let's set sail on this treasure hunt. The first path, look across alternative industries, really highlights how powerful this approach can be.
It's about realizing that your competition isn't always the most obvious. Think about Curve's fitness clubs. They didn't just create another gym. They looked at why women weren't going to traditional gyms in the first place. By combining the best of gyms and home workout programs, they created a simpler, faster, and more supportive environment. That appealed specifically to women, creating a blue ocean by redefining working out.
So the key takeaway for us, it's not just about finding a gap in the market. It's about understanding the deep-seated needs and fears, the ones that are preventing people from engaging with existing solutions. That's how you unlock a whole new customer base.
Precisely. Now, path 2, look across strategic groups within industries, encourages us to look within our industries but think outside the box. Remember Yellowtail?
Yes. The Australian wine that turned the wine industry upside down.
They realized that most non-wine drinkers found traditional wines intimidating and complex. Instead of fighting for a share of the existing wine market, they created a fun, easy-to-drink, and affordable wine, challenging all those traditional notions of wine connoisseurship. And it was a hit. They brought in a whole new customer base by speaking to an entirely different need.
Path 3 takes this idea of looking beyond your immediate customer base even further, urging us to look across the chain of buyers.
The book gives a great example with Novo Nordisk, the insulin company. They realized that the industry was overly focused on doctors, the influencers, rather than the patients, the actual users.
That's such an important point. Sometimes we get so focused on who's making the purchasing decision that we forget who's actually using the product.
Exactly. By shifting their attention to patients' needs for convenience and discretion, they developed a user-friendly insulin pen. That revolutionized diabetes management. It wasn't just a better product, it was a better solution for the people who actually needed it.
Okay, this is making me rethink everything. Look, across complementary product and service offerings is the focus of Path 4. It's about thinking beyond your core product or service and seeing what else influences its value.
NABI Buses, the municipal bus company, is a fantastic example. They recognized that the industry was solely focused on the buses themselves. AMEI went further and redesigned the entire customer experience. They offered buses with a modern design, lower floors for easier access, and more seats to reduce standing. These improvements not only made the buses more appealing, but also helped municipalities increase ridership and revenue.
So they weren't just selling buses. They were selling a better way to get around town. It's like taking a holistic view of the customer experience, understanding all the touch points that contribute to value.
Now, Path 5. Look across functional or emotional appeal to buyers is where things get really interesting.
It reminds me of Apple and how they totally transformed the music industry with iTunes.
Before iTunes, the music industry was all about the physical product, the CD. Apple tapped into the emotional side of music, the desire for personalization and easy access. They created a digital music library experience that resonated with customers on a much deeper level.
Okay, so if a company is stuck focusing on the practical, maybe they should try appealing to emotion and vice versa, right?
Exactly. Sometimes a simple shift in perspective can open up a whole new blue ocean. And finally, Path 6, look across time, encourages us to think about the future.
It's about anticipating how trends and customer needs might evolve, right? Like trying to predict the next big wave before it crests.
The example they use is JC the outdoor advertising company. They saw the potential of bus stops as advertising spaces way before anyone else. They anticipated the rise of urban populations and their need for information and entertainment on the go.
They turn bus stops into prime advertising real estate. I love that. It shows how a little foresight can go a long way. So we've got our treasure map, these 6 paths leading to blue ocean opportunities. But how do we actually turn those opportunities into a winning strategy?
That's where the Eliminate, Reduce, Raise, Create grid comes in. This is the tool to help you systematically analyze your industry and potential offering to identify what you can eliminate, reduce, raise, and create to deliver exceptional value at a lower cost.
I've loved that it's a grid. So visual, you can literally see how to break free from the competition. The book uses the curves example again to illustrate this.
Exactly. Curves eliminated all those unnecessary amenities like pools and saunas that added costs but weren't core to their target customers' needs. They reduced the complexity of equipment, raised the social aspect by creating a supportive community environment, and created a women-only space to address those feelings of intimidation many women felt in traditional gyms.
It's like they took everything we learned from the 6 paths and put it into action. So we've explored potential blue oceans and developed a solid strategy using the grid. What's next?
Now comes the crucial piece, strategic pricing. How do you attract a mass market while ensuring your business thrives?
Welcome back, fellow deep divers. We're charting a course to uncontested market space with blue ocean strategy. Last time we navigated those 6 paths and mapped out a winning strategy. Now we're facing those sneaky red ocean traps, the ones that can lure us back into the competitive fray.
These tracks are like sirens, tempting us with familiar but ultimately unproductive ways of thinking. Recognizing them is the first step to staying on course.
Okay, let's expose these traps so we can avoid them. What's the first one we need to watch out for?
The first trap is seeing blue ocean strategy as simply a customer-oriented approach.
I see where that gets tricky. Isn't blue ocean strategy all about understanding customer needs and creating value?
It is, but the key difference lies in the focus on non-customers, not just existing customers. Blue Ocean strategy emphasizes that the biggest insights for innovation often come from understanding why people don't use your product or service. What are the barriers? What are the unmet needs?
That's a light bulb moment. If you only look at your existing customer base, you're likely to just come up with incremental improvements. But when you start exploring the world of non-customers, you open yourself up to entirely new possibilities.
Exactly. Think back to Callaway Golf. They didn't create the Big Bertha driver by asking golfers what they wanted. They asked non-golfers why they weren't interested in the sport.
And they discovered the biggest barrier.
Hitting a golf ball was simply too hard for most people. By addressing that obstacle, they created a blue ocean and brought in a whole new wave of customers.
Okay, that's powerful. Trap number 2 is being blinded by the allure of technological breakthroughs. It's easy to think innovation is all about the latest and greatest tech.
Ah, yes, the shiny object syndrome of innovation. Technology is important, but Blue Ocean strategy reminds us that technology is only a means to an end. It's got to be linked to buyer value.
Right. It's not enough to have a fancy new gadget if nobody wants to use it. Remember the example of Philips CDI?
Exactly. They had this incredibly advanced imagination machine that could do all sorts of things, but the user interface was so complicated and there wasn't much compelling software available. Customers were overwhelmed and couldn't see the value, so despite its technological brilliance, it flopped.
Yeah, that's a great reminder. That technology should serve the customer, not the other way around. All right, trap number 3 is searching for blue oceans within red ocean boundaries.
This trap highlights how important it is to challenge those industry boundaries we take for granted. We get so caught up in competing within our existing space that we fail to see the bigger picture.
It's like we're wearing blinders. We need to break free from those mental constraints.
Cirque du Soleil illustrates this perfectly. Instead of trying to compete with traditional circuses with slightly better animal acts or lower prices, they redefined what a circus could be.
They blended circus arts with theater and ballet, creating a sophisticated artistic experience for a completely different audience. They literally created a new market space.
And they made the traditional competition irrelevant by doing so.
All right. Trap number 4 is a subtle one. Confusing market creating strategies with differentiation strategies.
It's an important distinction. Many companies focus on differentiation, trying to stand out by offering unique features or benefits.
Yeah, that's important, but it's not the same as creating a completely new market, right?
Exactly. Differentiation often leads to incremental improvements within an existing market, while market-creating strategies, like Blue Ocean strategy, aim to unlock entirely new demand.
Give us an example that highlights this difference.
Think about the early days of the automobile industry. Before Ford came along with the Model T, cars were expensive luxury items. Ford didn't just create a slightly better car, he created a car for the masses.
He made cars affordable and accessible to everyday people, which completely transformed the industry and created a whole new market. So it wasn't just about differentiation, it was about fundamentally changing the game.
Exactly. It was about unlocking a vast, untapped market that didn't exist before.
Okay, the next trap is the belief that Blue Ocean strategy is about niche creation. I guess it's tempting to go after those specialized markets.
This trap can lead companies down a path of focusing on smaller and smaller segments, limiting their growth potential. It's like slicing the pie thinner and thinner instead of making the whole pie bigger.
Makes sense. Blue Ocean strategy is about uncontested market space. That appeals to a large customer base. It's not about catering to niche demands.
The book uses Pret a Manger, the fresh food chain, as an example of avoiding this trap.
They've definitely carved out a unique space in the food world.
They realized busy professionals wanted quick, healthy lunch options but were dissatisfied with existing offerings. Instead of creating a niche product for a specific dietary group, they created a fresh, affordable, and convenient alternative to fast food, appealing to a broad audience.
Yeah, they created a new category within the fast food industry, and they did it by focusing on the commonalities of what customers wanted, not the differences.
Exactly. They found that sweet spot that resonated with a large group of people.
And the final trap, the idea that Blue Ocean strategy is only for startups or industry outsiders. This one feels like a myth waiting to be busted.
It is a misconception that can hold back established companies from innovating. Blue Ocean strategy emphasizes that any company, regardless of size or industry position, can create blue oceans.
It's about challenging the status quo, breaking free from red ocean conventions, reimagining what's possible. It's not about your company's age, it's about your company's mindset.
Precisely. The book offers several examples of established companies that have successfully created blue oceans, like Nintendo with the Wii and Apple with the iPod and the iPhone.
Those companies didn't just rest on their laurels, they kept pushing the boundaries and creating new waves of innovation.
And that's the essence of Blue Ocean strategy, that relentless pursuit of uncontested market space and the willingness to constantly challenge and reinvent yourself.
So even if you're a big established company, don't let those red ocean traps hold you back. There's always potential to create your own blue ocean and escape that competitive grind. It's inspiring to see how these principles can apply not just to businesses, but to any situation where we're facing competition.
And speaking of applying these principles broadly, the next part of our dive takes us beyond the traditional business landscape. We'll explore how Blue Ocean strategy can create positive change in the public sector and even in our personal lives. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been mapping a course to uncharted waters with Blue Ocean strategy. We've navigated those 6 paths, built our strategy, and dodged those red ocean traps. Now we're taking this concept beyond the business world, exploring its power in the public sector and even our personal lives.
Yeah, it's fascinating how these principles can be applied so broadly. The book dives into the case of the New York City Police Department under Bill Bratton in the 1990s. It's a powerful example of Blue Ocean strategy in action.
New York was grappling with sky-high crime rates back then, and the police force was seen as ineffective and demoralized. Talk about a red ocean scenario.
Oh, it was a classic struggle. But Bratton didn't try to fight crime the same way everyone else was. He took a Blue Ocean approach. Focusing on the underlying factors driving crime and disorder, he recognized that even seemingly minor offenses like graffiti and fare evasion contributed to a climate of lawlessness.
So instead of solely chasing major criminals, he cracked down on those smaller offenses. It's like the broken windows theory, right?
Exactly. By addressing those smaller problems, they created a ripple effect that helped reduce more serious crime. It was a brilliant example of challenging conventional assumptions about policing.
And it wasn't just about changing tactics.
Right.
It was about changing the entire culture of the police department.
Absolutely. Bratton focused on building trust and collaboration between the police and the community. He empowered officers to take initiative and solve problems. And he made sure that everyone, from the top brass to the beat cops, was aligned with this new vision.
It sounds like he really put those tipping point leadership principles to work.
He did.
The results were incredible. Crime rates plummeted, public confidence in the police soared, and even officer morale improved.
It just goes to show you the power of blue ocean thinking, even in a context as challenging as law enforcement.
It's inspiring to see how these principles can make such a difference, not just in the business world, but in society as a whole.
And that's what makes blue ocean strategy so fascinating. It's not just a toolbox for businesses, it's a mindset that can be applied to any situation where we're facing competition or trying to create positive change.
So what does this all mean for us? How can we apply Blue Ocean strategy to our own lives?
That's the question, isn't it? Think about your own career or your personal goals. Are you stuck in a red ocean, competing with everyone else for the same opportunities?
Ooh, that hits close to home. Sometimes it feels like everyone's fighting for the same jobs, same promotions, the same scraps of recognition. It's exhausting.
It is. But what if you took a blue ocean approach? What if you stopped trying to beat everyone else at their own game and focused on creating your own unique value proposition?
Instead of just trying to be the best at what everyone else is doing, we should focus on carving out our own niche, our own blue ocean, a place where our unique skills and talents can truly shine.
Exactly. It might mean pursuing a non-traditional career path,
Right.
or combining your passions in a way that no one else has done before. It's about being bold, being creative, not just following the crowd.
I love that. Blue Ocean strategy for life. This deep dive has been incredible. It's given me so much to think about. What are some final takeaways you'd like to leave our listeners with?
I think the most important takeaway is this. Don't let the boundaries of your industry or your current circumstances limit your thinking. There are always opportunities to create blue oceans, to unlock new value, and to make the competition irrelevant. It's about having the courage to challenge the status quo, break free from those red ocean conventions, and chart your own course.
It's been an incredible journey exploring Blue Ocean strategy with you all. We hope this deep dive has sparked your imagination and inspired you to seek out those uncharted waters in your own lives. Thanks for joining us, and happy swimming.